Now, there is nothing more frustrating than uploading a video to YouTube and then having it completely flop within the first 24 hours. It does the initial peak where it gets a load of attention, and then it rapidly just declines down into that very bottom where it's just getting the odd views for the rest of the time, and it's completely died. So the question is, can we bring it back to life, or should you potentially delete it? And in some cases, maybe you do actually want to delete it. And towards the end of the video, I'll talk on the points that you may want to look at if you are potentially going to remove a video from your channel. But what we want to try and do is save that video. Can we actually revive it and give it an additional boost so that it might actually get more views? Maybe it won't go viral, but it will actually start to get more views. Now, I've been trying out a huge amount of different content angles and ideas on my channel, so I've had a lot of different flop videos. So I've really been putting this into action myself. So I'm going to take you through four main ways, in fact, that you can potentially revive your video. And the first one is that we actually want to look at that potentially we want to be changing the thumbnail and the title. Normally, I wouldn't want to do this so quickly after upload, but if your video completely dies in the first 24 hours, then you may need to look at it and see if there's some form of disconnect. Are you not connecting with your audience or your new audience if you're targeting someone else with your videos, your thumbnails, and your title? So as I said, I've been testing this quite a bit recently. So what we want to do is we want to go into the videos analytics, and if you're getting terrible views like this, so 65 views on this particular video, it's absolutely bombing, and we can see that it's already doing that sort of downward thing where it's slowly going to 0 views almost, and it's going to completely bomb. But we want to ask a couple of questions when we're looking at this to decide if it's actually going to be worth our time and energy to create a new title and a thumbnail, to try and give it that extra boost while it's still getting pushed out ever so slightly from YouTube. And the first thing that we want to ask is, are you getting impressions? So are you getting impressions, which is where YouTube is showing your content all over the place. So it's showing it on the homepage, it's showing it in suggested, it's appearing in front of viewers. They may just be scrolling by it, but YouTube is still trying it out for people that it believes it's going to show up against. Now, the number of impressions you get as a newer channel may be slightly lower, but if it's showing it to, say, a few hundred and maybe, let's say, 500 within the first week, but as long as it's showing it to a greater number of people, then it is still giving it a chance. So therefore, it's maybe worth your time and energy to try something new to give it that second opportunity. And the other question we want to ask is, where are the views and the impressions coming from? So where are these impressions coming from? Is it inside your audience with a relevant audience, which means your subscribers or people that have been watching your videos recently? So people that are still relevant to you. Maybe they've watched one or two of your videos or interacted with you in some way, shape or form. So therefore they're your inside circle, should we say, the ones that YouTube is still sharing you out to. Or is it outside of this? Is YouTube testing a new audience, which may be a good thing if you're trying to change or shift audience for your channel? So we want to understand those two things. And if we do, we can come into our analytics, and I'll show you on the computer in just a moment. And we want to see, are we getting impressions? So this video here has got 95 views. It's saying 79 of those are unique, so they're coming from outside, and it's got 95 views. Very low click-through rate. So I want to try and understand why there's a low click-through rate for this particular video. But it's getting a lot of impressions. So it's over 3,000 impressions from YouTube, even with the low click-through rate. So therefore, YouTube is trying it. It's trying to push it out and potentially to a new audience. So if I can see here, inside the audience part, if we go to the audience tab in analytics, we are able to then see what the audience is watching. So who are they watching? Are they new? Are they casual users? Or are they regular viewers? So regular viewers is probably going to be your subscribers or people that watch a lot of your content. Casual are the ones who have watched the odd video. So maybe they're just new, or they've only dabbled a little bit or watched a bit of a video. So we want to understand where they're coming from. So I can see here, I have nearly 40% new, and we've got a huge amount of casual. So none of the diehards are watching this. So it's a casual or completely new audience. And that would actually make sense because this particular video is completely new. I was actually, we moved that. I was actually testing out a completely new group. I was testing out new content which was different from my normal content. So I was testing out a new audience. And therefore, it was going to be mainly a new audience that was seeing it. And this also made sense from this, because YouTube may be sharing out to a lot of my existing audience, and then it wasn't performing well because it wasn't a video they were interested in clicking in, which meant I got a lower click-through rate. And also when it's sharing it to a newer audience and it's going broader, your click-through rate will also often go down. So that kind of makes sense as well. But the fact that it's pushing it so far, what I need to do is I need to understand if it's been pushing out these views here, and most of the people actually watching are not from my channel, do I continue to push this? Do I change it? Do I just assume that it's not aligned with my current audience, but maybe it is aligned with the new audience, so therefore maybe it's still good. But if it's aligning with the new audience, then I still would want to try and improve this. So the click-through rate from impressions, it's difficult to know if I should improve that because it's new and unique. But if this was more of my audience, my existing audience, and this was very low, my click-through rate, then I would definitely want to change the thumbnail and address it. So you could potentially change it here, but there's obviously a disconnect between my audience and what I'm actually doing here. So the question would be, could I improve it to try and get more external clicks? Could it make it a better idea with the title and the thumbnail? Or shall I just accept that there's not enough of a new audience that I've got yet, and I'm just going to have to grind through and keep producing more of this type of content? But if it's coming from my existing audience rather than new, then this would definitely mean that it would be worth me changing my thumbnail and my title. So if we quickly go inside one of the videos here, so let's go inside this one. So you just go into your content and you go analytics, and we can see this video completely flopped for me, but it was very, very, very niche. So it was always going to be massively niche. We can see it's getting no views now. There's no way I can bring this back because even within the new niche I was targeting, it was very, very select group of people. So if we go into reach, we can see it got quite a lot of impressions, which would probably be from my existing audience, and it didn't really perform well in terms of impressions. So the click-through rate was very low. And if I go to audience, again, it's the numbers that we've seen here. We can see that it's just not performing that well. So I would potentially want to create different types of content or go broader. Or I would say that, okay, even with the new audience, it's not getting a lot of views. So maybe, again, in this example, it's too niche. So I need to try and go a bit broader to get more of that new audience. So that's really what you want to look at, if it's going to be worth your time. And I think that's the final question you want to ask yourself is, will this be worth your time? Is it worth your time saving it? Or do you just need to produce more content and go a bit broader moving forward to get more people coming in? Or what's worse is, did you get it wrong? So always look at yourself and say, did I mess this up? Did I create a video that I wanted to create and not what my audience actually wanted? Was there a disconnect there? So even if I wasn't targeting a new audience, but I was targeting my existing one and nobody really seemed that interested, was it the packaging that got wrong, or was it something I got wrong? In which case, maybe it wasn't an in-demand video. I wasn't fixing the problem. I wasn't tapping into demand. I was trying to create it with a new video. So potentially I got it wrong then. In which case, no point in really doing much with it. Maybe just it's time to move on and try to create a new video. The next one is we want to share on our community tab. Now, YouTube is pushing community tabs quite a lot right now. I think it still needs a lot of improvement, but there's some great ways that people are starting to use this. And your community tab is a great opportunity for you to get additional views and eyeballs onto your videos. And I'm seeing a lot of big creators. We've got a lot of people, mainly people that understand YouTube, are doing this. So it hasn't gone mainstream yet. So for any channel out there, this could be a great opportunity for you to give your videos an additional boost. And this is that you would actually share it onto your community tab like this. So if we see Ali's here, he's put a little description and then he's linked to the video here so people can then see it. And this was 2 days after he uploaded it. So I can see by the days here, day 11, day 13. So 2 days after, obviously the video didn't do quite as well as he'd hoped, so he wanted to give it a little additional boost to try and get it to go out a bit further. Now, you could do this regardless of whether it did well or it did badly, but it's a great way just to say, okay, maybe there was a slight disconnect with my packaging or the way I was describing it. So maybe if I did change the packaging, I decided it was worth my time, and I changed the video and title, I then might want to give it another little boost because YouTube might not be pushing it as much, put a little description that's eye-catching, describes what the video is about and the benefits of it a little bit more, and then hopefully your community will click on that and it will give it an additional boost. We also see the likes of Sunny Lenarduzzi. She actually does this when she uploads a video. She then shares it in the community as well to give it the double boost. So you could also do this automatically as standard, but your feed is getting pushed a lot more. So you really want to make sure that you're posting in the community a little bit more. Otherwise, the amount of reach that it gets is sort of quite low. So it's like nurturing an email list. We want to make sure that we're posting in the community more, because in the past when I've done this, if you do a few posts in a row, they get more and more engagement as it goes on. But if you stop posting for a while, like I have now, then it means that when I post on the community, if I suddenly do it randomly, it's not going to get as much attention as it could. So you really want to keep it alive. But posting in the community is a great way to get additional eyeballs onto your posts without actually having to upload again or change anything like that. We then have our end screens. Now, our end screens are these things that we see at the end of the video. You probably use them, you've probably seen them. We all tend to click on them if you actually make it to the end of the video, but we can have this on the last 20 seconds of the video. And it's an opportunity for us to either get them to subscribe, to go to an external link, or we can get them to watch another video. And it's a great way to get people to binge watch different content. So you could actually select a video that you think is relevant. You can have the ones that are best for the user. So if we go here, you've got the options. So hopefully you can see this. We've got the best for user here. So we got the most recent upload, the best for viewer, and one that you actually choose. So if you were being very targeted with the way you were doing this, you would decide and even recommend in the video the next video for this, which would make it more difficult to do this strategy. But what I do, mainly because I'm lazy, is that I actually normally just set it to best for viewer. So then it just recommends the next best video that YouTube has vetted with its data to decide what the next best one is. But we have the option here for basically doing the newest one. So what you can actually do is go into the back end of your video and you can change the end screen to this setting, super easy. And then what you can do, and this is between uploads, so let's say first 24 hours, it doesn't do very well. And then you want to give it an extra boost with all your videos, because everybody watching the videos, maybe you've got 100,000 people watching your other videos. Some of those are going to make it to the end of the video. And by doing this, you can actually force them to potentially only see the newest video as the next option. So what that is obviously going to do is push a lot more attention onto your new video to give it a better chance. So you may not always want to do this, but maybe you would want to do it in, for some videos to try and get them additional boost. It is going to be a bit more work because you're going to have to individually go into each video. You could leave it so that it's always the newest video that's getting a boost. So you can have that as a setting. I don't know how that would affect your overall growth of the channel, because I find that it's generally better to leave it up to YouTube. But if you wanted to give an individual video a boost because you really believed in it, then you could literally go into the back end of all of your videos, change it all to the newest video, and then let's say you're doing a couple of days before the next upload. It will then mean that every other video is pushing attention towards your newest video. And what can often happen is that YouTube then finds the audience for that video and then has potentially, it can go a bit viral, or at least it gets more reach and it has more opportunity to keep growing, because maybe YouTube gave up on it too early, and by giving it the second boost again, we're able to get more growth. The next one is that we want to optimize our video descriptions. Now, many people out there these days, the big channels especially, don't really optimize for video descriptions. They don't really use tags. They don't really do anything. They leave it all up to YouTube. And honestly, in terms of uploading, wow, that was refreshing. That would be so much easier if all I have to do is have a link to my product in the video description and not really worry about it too much. That's it. I don't have a description. I don't describe the video. I let Google and YouTube read the video, understand the video and that what I'm saying inside it, and then find whatever people are relevant to it. So I leave it up to the robots. Well, this is great if you've got a massive channel and you've already trained YouTube and the AI on what your video and channel is about. But especially when new or when trying to change niche to a different angle, you really need to be optimizing your video descriptions, your tags, and all of the metadata you can to make sure that you're pointing YouTube in the right direction. YouTube understands what your video is about. It can generally understand most of it these days. It's incredibly smart, but the more information we could give it, the less it has to guess. So what we want to do is we really want to train YouTube to understand our channel, especially if we are a new channel. So this is massively important. So this means that you're going to want to put at least a little bit of text, a little bit, so that it's got a couple of the keywords, the main keywords that you're targeting for that particular video. Maybe you've done your research and you would say, okay, the couple of main keywords are going to be this word here, this one here. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I've then used a couple of hashtags for that are key to the video. And then I've at least put a few keywords in the description as well when I was actually creating it. So the tags are going to be separate. So hashtags and normal tags are separate. So they all bring very little amounts, but even if this is 5% better, it will help YouTube understand, because maybe you'll miss the initial boost with the video at the start, but what will happen is if you improve the metadata, you might start to get some search traffic, which means you'll start to at least get some more views and it will start to go up slightly. But over time, if all of your videos are connected, and what I like to do is have some channel level keywords that are relevant for what my channel is about and I do, and then I like to put those tags into most of my videos as well. So they all connect together like a spider's web. So therefore what happens is YouTube starts to recommend more of my videos around my other videos, and they all kind of overlap with each other. And that's what we want, like threads linking all of our videos. They need to be connected in a variety of different ways. So although yes, metadata and optimizing is less relevant, it still is really relevant, especially as a small channel or when you're trying to change niche. So I would go back, optimize all of that. You can use ChatGPT if you need to and just post it in there. So just go to ChatGPT, write me a brief description. Here are the main keywords, and then upload it and put it into your video description. And that will just help give it a little additional boost, hopefully from some search traffic. And then finally, should you delete videos or at least make them private? And my answer to this is actually maybe. I know most people would go, no, don't delete it. But sometimes, especially if you're doing what, say, I'm doing at the moment, like if we go into my channel here, I've been trying a number of different things, at least 3 different niche angles. And the views are obviously pretty bad, some more than others. Like some are, I expect a few hundred, that's great. But then others are absolutely tanking. A couple of these are really, really low. So they're massively underperforming. And what I will do after the end of my growth sprint when I've been doing all this testing is I will probably delete at least a few of these videos, because I will decide on the main angle I'm going to take moving forward. And then I will sack off a few of the ones that I think are potentially not good for the channel and start to focus more on that particular avatar niche and direction moving forward. So what we want to do is ask the question, does it match the target audience? Does it match our target audience, our avatar? So you would have hopefully done something I like to call the 4W statement. And I'll link to our free community in the video description if you would like more help on growing your online business with YouTube. Inside we do something called the 4W statement, and it's understanding exactly who you're targeting. So it's the who, what, with, and without. And once you understand that, it's like your GPS. You know generally what your niche is and who your target avatar is. So ask yourself, does it align with that? And if the answer is not really, then you potentially have your answer straight away. And then the next thing I like to do is I like to do the 5 video test. And for me, the 5 video test is where you basically pick 5 videos at random. So we've got 5 videos at random. If you were to pick 5 random videos from your channel, would your target avatar, some crazy drawing there, would your target avatar want to watch all 5 of these videos? Would they want to binge watch all of those videos? It's okay to have the odd one that doesn't quite align, but if you're going through and you're like, no, maybe those 2, then you're not aligned with your audience. You're not creating content that is going to be a match. You're not going to get then enough views for potentially videos going viral later on and so on. So sometimes having completely wrong videos on your channel can actually be detrimental. So if it's not getting views, if it doesn't match your target avatar, and it fails the 5 video test, then you may want to remove it. So what I then like to generally ask is, does it add or take away from your channel? So is it something that will now or in the future add value to your channel? Is it something that maybe you're changing audience, it doesn't really work now, but in future they might be interested in this? And if the answer is no, then it's actually taking away. So it's again taking away from the random test here, where potentially YouTube might recommend it and you might miss out on a view because the video wasn't relevant to the audience. So if it's actually taking away from your channel, then I would definitely remove it or make it private and get rid of it, especially if it's not really hit the mark in the first 30 days. But we want to be making sure that all of our content is relevant to our target audience. With that said, if you would like more help on this, you can join our free community, which I will link to in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.